"Dad, I need to tell you something." I said these words to my father just the other day. I think we all know those 6 words are the preface to a revelation. It's like dipping your toe in the water before diving in. We rarely share our secrets first without saying something like, "I need to tell you something." It prepares your listener for what is coming next, but I've also discovered it's a test of courage. If I say those words, it means I'm ready to share something that I kept hidden right up till that moment. Over the last few years, my dad and I have grown much closer, and I've told him lots of things I kept secret from when I was young. Secrets such as, "Dad, did you know I used to climb out my bedroom window at night, then go to the city with my friends?" He didn't know. And the other thing he didn't know was that the fernery he'd built just below my bedroom window facilitated my adventures. He was an unwitting accomplice to my teenage escapades, and he thought it was pretty funny. He wouldn't have thought it funny at the time, though, and that's why I kept it a secret. Guilt, fear, and just a little bit of shame for doing something I know would have disappointed him kept me silent. Now, at nearly 50 years of age, secrets like these are free of the concerns that consumed me when I was just 15. These secrets are well and truly past their use-by date. Now, they're just stories, and sharing them with my dad is fun, and it brings us closer. Research on secrets, which one can only imagine isn't the easiest thing to research, reveals that on average a person has 13 secrets. Some of these are probably adolescent ones like mine, like sneaking out at night or smoking behind the school gym or breaking your sister's favourite toy and never admitting it was you. Maybe some of your own are coming back to you now as we speak. We forget many of these little secrets with the passing of time, and what seem like huge moments we had kept carefully hidden lose their power without us even noticing. But some of those 13 or so secrets we each carry around, locked deep down inside, are big, really big. Some of them never lose their ability to trigger guilt, fear, or shame. Some of them weigh so heavy that even if it happened many, many years ago, they still feel ever present, haunting our waking hours and casting a shadow over our lives. There was a time in my life where I couldn't utter those words, "I need to tell you something," to anyone. Now I know it's the time in my life I most needed to be able to say it. But I thought hiding my secrets was safer than revealing them. I thought no one would understand, and I thought I'd be judged and found wanting. You see, my first husband had an affair very early in our marriage, and I never told anyone. I convinced myself that keeping this secret would keep the peace and it would keep my family together. The truth is, I was ashamed that I'd willingly walked into a situation that turned bad. Why didn't I see this coming? Was it all my fault? And what did it say about me? Shame is one of the most poisonous emotions. It floods you with doubt and tricks you into believing you must be flawed and somehow deserving of your fate. Shame rendered me silent, and by the time he became emotionally controlling and abusive, it was impossible for me to tell anyone. Living with secrets like this is like being an actor on stage, where the heavy velvet curtain is never raised. Sounds are muffled, lights are dimmed, and you cannot see the audience, and you feel completely alone. I slowly became a shadow of my former self, weighed down by my own silence more than by my circumstances. The author, Ed Greenwood, said, "Each secret you carry has a weight all of its own." The heaviness of a secret comes not simply from keeping it. You can keep a momentous secret forever, and it doesn't automatically become a burden. Some secrets are delicious memories or shared intimacies that enrich our lives, like an innocent holiday romance or a private joke with a best friend. They may flutter through your mind from time to time, but shameful secrets just will not leave. The heaviness of a secret comes from how often your mind wanders to it. The more you think about it, the heavier it becomes. My secret filled all the spaces in my mind. I found relief only when I worked hard or played hard, distracted for a few moments or a few hours, but it would always rush back whenever my mind had an idle moment. Mind wandering becomes rumination, and rumination can spiral into hopelessness. Hopelessness means you see no path forward, and secrets that spiral into hopelessness are the seeds for depression and suicide. I've ridden that spiral myself, sucked slowly down through its layers into a big black hole until I felt there was no life left for me. I felt my only option to end the unrelenting pain was to end my life. I was so close to committing to this course of action that I went online and found out the easiest and most effective way to commit suicide. That's when I found the true power of those 6 words. I need to tell you something. One morning, after a sleepless night sobbing, as the same circling thoughts dragged me to the same dead end, I pulled myself from my bed and sat motionless in the kitchen until a friend arrived at my door. She knew immediately that something was wrong, but it wasn't until I built the courage to say, I need to tell you something, that I could pour out my story and my secrets. The moment I began, I felt that heavy curtain lift, just enough for a crack of light to shine under. The more I talked, the higher the curtain rose, and I realised it wasn't her response that mattered. It was simply the act of breaking my silence that was changing my world. Confiding in secrets is correlated with a higher level of well-being. Confiding is a way to say, I'm ready to deal with this, and the very act of breaking your silence is the first step. It was for me. As I spoke, I was able to face my secret and see it with new clarity. It felt different than it felt when it was just spinning in my mind. Eventually, I could make the decisions I should have made a long time ago. If you listen to stories told by people who have hit rock bottom and returned, they'll tell you that the turning point came when they revealed the secrets that had been consuming them. At any one time, 97% of us have at least one big secret, which means you probably know someone who feels like they're living behind that heavy curtain, hopeless and alone. But because many of these people soldier on in silence, we rarely know what they are going through. When I was in that place, I looked like everyone else, trying to get on with my life, raising kids, working, laughing with my friends, but it was all a facade. I was empty inside. When I said those words to my friend, I need to tell you something, she listened, and a flicker of hope returned. Not every secret needs to be shared, but if a secret weighs you down, sharing it can lift the burden, at least a little. This is often done with a trusted friend or family member, but it can be just as effective to confide in a stranger or even confide anonymously. Post a Secret was a project started in 2005 by Frank Warren. He invited people to mail in their secrets anonymously on a homemade postcard. Then he loaded them onto his website. He said, sometimes people let their secrets go on the website and they realise it was never as big as it felt when they kept it locked up in their heart. When people reveal their secrets, it can also be a gift for the rest of us. Real stories are the most important stories, but they're the ones we rarely hear. People who have been through tough times are often wary of revealing their story too widely, even after they've come out the other side. Some wish to protect the privacy of the ones they love. Others cannot bear the pressure or judgment of the public. For many, an echo of their own fear, doubt, or shame silences them. Some people are silenced by laws that not only rob them of the right to speak their truth, but rob all of us of the opportunity to hear the very stories that lead to change. How can we learn the truth about life unless we hear raw and real experiences from ordinary people? How can they heal unless they're supported when they feel ready to share their truth? And how can we leave a better world for our future generations if we don't share our honest experiences and mistakes? Every story offers invaluable lessons when we take the time to listen to those who have the courage to speak. Everywhere I turn, I see the damage caused holding on to hurtful secrets. The business owner who cannot look his children in the eye or tell his wife that his business is collapsing around him. The teenager who cannot tell her mother of the abuse suffered at the hands of a family member. The mother who cannot tell her boss of the constant dread that her daughter is suicidal. But I also look around and see a groundswell of change. Are You OK Day has encouraged conversations that never would have happened. A young woman, Grace Tame, stood up for herself and became the 2021 Australian of the Year because she broke her silence and shone a light on hidden abuse. Rose, a woman I know well, wrote a book about her own shocking experiences. Her descriptions of the raw and painful emotions that afflict those suffering in silence are powerful and moving. And her story is a stunning example of why sharing our secrets is so important. I know the healing power of breaking my silence, of facing my secrets and releasing them. Now, it's my life's purpose to help others confide their secrets, break their silence, and tell their important stories safely in order to heal. To give them a voice so the rest of us can hear their truth. To get the stories into the world so their pain can heal others. And most of all, to give others the courage to utter those 6 little words. I need to tell you something.